Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 6, entitled The Liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, text 202. निज रूप प्रभु तांद्रे करील दर्शन चतुर्भुज रूप प्रभु हैल तखान. So Nija Rupa Tandre Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya revealed his own form, his intimate form. Tandre Karaila Darshan, gave him darshan of that form. Chaturbhuja Rupa Prabhu Haila Takham. And at that time, Chaturbhuja Rupa Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a form of Chaturbhuja. Haila Takan. Takan means at that time. Now, how exactly did this happen? Chaturbhuja Rupa. The Lord is himself Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. In Brahma Samhita, when Brahmaji is glorifying the Lord, he states that he is Advaitam. Now, in the devotional context, the Advaita refers to not the non-dual manifestation of Brahman, but it refers to the non-duality between the Lord's various manifestations. Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. So Ananta Rupam, he has not just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 manifestations, he has unlimited manifestations. So now here, Chaturbhuja Rupa Prabhu Haila Takhan. Chaturbhuja Rupa Prabhu. So he manifested a 4-handed form. Now, here it's important to understand how the conception of the absolute truth as revealed in the Vedic tradition, the Bhakti tradition, is complex. Often in the Western tradition there are divisions, just say mono-theism and polytheism. So monotheism is there is one God, polytheism there are many gods. And in the Abrahamic religions often pride themselves, oh, we are monotheistic, rigidly monotheistic. In fact, the Protestants, they don't accept the conception of, even quite often they don't accept the conception of Virgin Mary, and they say that okay, you Catholics may sometimes worship worship Virgin Mary also. We don't worship. We worship only Jesus, or only God who is manifesting as Jesus. So now Islam is even more rigidly monotheistic, and that's why they say that even there should not be any depiction of Muhammad also, and because then that will become an object of worship which may eventually replace the worship of God. So they claim that they are monotheistic and they worship only one God, and when they look at the Hindu tradition, often they say, oh, you people are polytheists, and they consider polytheism as a very primitive, foolish belief system. And that's okay at one level, because their idea is that how can there be many supremes if God is by definition the supreme one, and the supreme has to be only one. So how can there be many supremes? So there will be competition, there will be war, and there will be chaos if there are many people vying for supremacy. So they have this from their Abrahamic categories of conceptualization. They try to make sense of the Bhakti tradition, and they lump the Bhakti tradition as polytheists. But then the Bhakti tradition's conception of God is far more subtle. So God can himself have many manifestations. Now Krishna, Ram, Vishnu, Jagannath, Narasimha, Vamana, these are all the same one God, but manifesting at different times to perform different missions and manifesting in different forms. So, it is the same one God manifesting in many forms. Advaitam and Anantarupam, both are there. So now if you want to present the Bhagavatam's conception of God in the contemporary academic language, probably the way we could say it is that these are that we are not polytheists, but our conception of God is that of polymorphic mono-theism. Morpho means form, polymorphic means having many forms. Monotheism means accepting one God. Here the word God is used with G in the capital, that is in the sense of the Supreme Being. So, polymorphic monotheism refers to how there is one God, but he manifests in many forms. So monotheism means that we accept that not that there are many gods, there is only one God, but that one God can manifest in many different forms. And now of course these forms are also not just contextual, they are transcendental. That means yes, Narasimhadev manifests in that particular form for a particular occasion or a particular purpose, because Hiranyakashipu had a particular benediction by which he could not be killed by any member of any of the Brahma's creations. So then Narasimha manifested in a half man, half lion form manifestation. Still, that manifestation also, it is understood as eternal. And now there are avatars who manifest, who reveal themselves at different times in different places. And yet each of the very word avatar means one who descends. Avatarati iti avatar. So one who descends is considered to be avatar, and the idea of descending indicates that that particular person existed before descending also. If somebody descended down a staircase, so that means that person existed. Maybe that person was not visible earlier to us, and that person was an upper story, but that was existing person. So similarly, when we say the descent, that means that particular manifestation was existing before, and that manifestation of the divine who was existing before chose to reveal oneself at this particular point. So there is polymorphic monotheism has multiple meanings with respect to analyzing the Bhagavatam's conception. So there is the Bhakti conception of the divine. So here one is that God can not just God can manifest in multiple forms, but also that God has multiple forms, and in the spiritual world he manifests those forms. He reveals himself in those forms, and he revels in those forms. He delights in those forms eternally. And interestingly, there are also certain manifestations which are revealed according to time, place, circumstance, and which are not eternal. So, for example, here the Chaturbhuja manifestation being revealed, but this Chaturbhuja is not a Vishnu Chaturbhuja. Vishnu is known to have Chaturbhuja with Shankha Chakra Kada Padma, 4 arms with 4 of the primary paraphernalia of Vishnu in the 4 hands. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to reveal a form which is extraordinary in the sense that who in reciprocation with the devotee's desires, who in advancing his own endearing and enchanting and incomprehensible plans for performing pastimes, who reveals in multi-phase manifestations. And that same Lord has manifested an extraordinary four-handed form here. We'll discuss about this more in our next talk. Thank you.